Okay, time to move on to the rear wheels, tires. We've got some mods we can do. First of all, you notice that you remember when we trimmed those axle posts, those bushing posts off of here, we still have some left over. And if you're going to put even a slightly wider tire underneath here, you're going to have to get rid of this because we just don't have a lot of room. So you can use an X-Acto blade, but again, here we are, good old Dremel, and that will make short work of this. And we'll just bring that down, and we will make sure that it's flush. So we're minimizing our chance here for it to rub. So we went ahead and got rid of it, made it flush. We'll do the other side. All right, because we've radiused the chassis, we have removed the bushing stands that we just cleaned off there. The chassis actually fits the body better. It's actually a little bit lower than stock because the way it comes, this chassis is almost being flexed a little bit when you tighten the screws down. Well, now it's a little bit lower. So if you want to fit a decent sized diameter tire in the back, I'll give you a couple of suggestions. My first one is just install a shim. This is a 30 thousandths axle shim from SCC, and I just glued it right here on top of the post. Doesn't seem like a lot, but with this car, it goes a long way in the clearance department, so that you don't have to do a lot of mods. So I would glue one of those on this post, and now we'll talk about tire sizes. As you can see with this interior here, that I've even removed more material, because if you don't put that shim there to bring the body up, you're really going to have a hard time with tires rubbing the bottom of that interior tray. So this is stock, and you can see how thick it is. And once again, just using my Dremel, I ground some plastic away and made it thinner, but I didn't go all the way through. This is kind of a tedious thing. Most of you may not want to do that, but the way this car is, I'm just going all out. I'm trying to get as much room as possible. But like I said, installing this shim here on that body post, get that out of the way, just raises it up just enough so we can get better clearance. Okay, and one more mod, you may or may not want to do, but as we did with the front, we covered on the fronts, you can take a Dremel sanding barrel, you can come in here, and you can take some material away, because the body's pretty thick right there. You can give it a nice bevel, and that'll give you a little bit more clearance if you need it. And you can do that without, enlarging the wheel opening, or disturbing the outside. You can do that. But again, not required, but I went ahead and did it. Okay, aftermarket tire options. If you prefer urethane, Paul gauge urethane, I went with the 21-10-5 LM for this one. Now, that's assuming that you're going to sand and true, because you need to bring this diameter down just a little bit. It's really close to rubbing. Once we remove the diameter there, we sand it down a little bit, you have no issues with clearance. So that's just my preferred tire. As far as silicone goes, Quick Slicks, I went with the CB35F. I feel that looks pretty good on the car as far as the profile goes, fills out the wheel well, and it clears. So those are my two tire options. I think I'm just going to go with the Quick Slicks on this one. So we're going to adjust our axle here. We're going to trim the axle, and then we're going to button it up and see how this thing goes. So I guess we should recap everything. As you can see, we have our finished car finally. Before I button it up, I'm going to change the screws out. SCC makes these body screws with a smooth shoulder. The 2 3x6, that fits body on this one very well. You know, just has that little smooth shoulder there to help with the body float. So I'm going to use those. And finally, I took a little bit of my favorite UV glue and I gave it a shot right here on the end of the motor, just a little bit here and here, because the motor likes to rock a little bit. So, well, we have it all done. Time to get the body on, see what she's got. Well, I can already tell you there's a drastic difference between this and a box stock car, as it should be. Very smooth, very easy to drive. This thing is almost screaming for a little bit more motor. It might get a Piranha just to pop it up a little bit, but we're going to leave it just the way it is for right now. Smooth. Yep. Just what I wanted. Something enjoyable. I know it's faster than box stock, but speed is one thing, and then there's the other side of performance, and that's just a nice, smooth, enjoyable drive. And this car has it in spades now. And like I said, I knew it was faster. 3654. So a box stock car is 4.1 with just a tire change, 3.9, high 3.8s. So this is pretty significant as far as times go. So a few people have asked questions and they said, well, is it worth it? Well, it is to me. This is my hobby. It's what I do. I like to see what I can do with these cars. We have all the parts. Used to be, we didn't. Now we do. And I can't help myself. I have no excuse. I just want to keep going and see what I can get out of these cars. As far as the costs go, I've had a few questions about that. It's all there in black and white. I'll show you. You can easily spend, depending on what parts you have on hand, like if you have braid and wire, you know, things like that. But even without that, you're looking at easily doubling the cost of this car, if not a little bit more. So with Scalextric's new wonderful MSRP of $54.95, which I certainly don't see that when I open the cars, but anyway, you can add 55 to 65 in parts just to get it to run like this. So it's only worth it to you. I mean, if you want to get the best performance out of this car, you want it to run better, you want to see how far you can take it, well, just as in the one-to-one world, performance costs money. I don't know if you knew that or not. I guess this is why cars like Thunder Slot, NSR, Rebel Slot, MR Slot cars that cost $75, $85 entry fee, doesn't really bother me anymore. They're actually more of a value than you think they are, especially if you're out here on a wood track, non-magnet, you know, for standard plastic track folks just getting together, having some fun. Hey, slap the cars on the track and have a ball, and that's great. But once you start routing the track and you're going non-magnet, you're putting these cars in an environment they weren't designed for, and you have to take responsibility for your actions out here. You build this, well, you got to build this too. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the series. Hope some of you got something out of it. You can always ask me questions anytime. I really appreciate all the feedback and all the comments online. So I hope you guys have an upcoming great Christmas. It's, you know, you could put this parts list on, maybe that's a stocking stuffer for you. So anyway, appreciate it all, guys. Just love seeing all your feedback out there, and we will see you online.